When you give recognition, when you go into a place where haunting phenomena is going on, and you give it recognition, you give it energy.
Captured what he believes is a spirit known as Jerry. Her dog was looking at something that terrified it. A woman named Shello obtained a cult necklace by Aleister Crowley.
Welcome back to the HFC podcast. This one is going to be heavy. Today we're diving down into two of the Warrens' most infamous and disturbing cases. Out of all the hauntings they've investigated, we're just focusing on two: the Smurl Family haunting and the Amityville Horror. Both stories still send chills decades later. But before we get deep into the darkness, we're going to explore some terrifying footage caught on Ring cameras. By the end of this video, you might never look at your front door the same again. Let's get diving.
With this fourth video, we move to something a little more paranormal. This was caught on a TikToker named Nolan Brock's indoor Ring security camera while he was sleeping on the couch. At 1:39 in the morning, he's awoken to the pantry doors opening and some kind of cracks or bangs coming from either inside the pantry or from the doors themselves. With the fan running, the thought of it being a draft wasn't out of the question per se. He ignored it and tried to go back to sleep. But 4 minutes later at 1:43, this happened. One of the doors is aggressively yanked shut. And this officially removes any possibility of a draft being the cause of the doors moving. It's safe to assume he slept in his bed the rest of the night.
I've watched the following ring cam footage several times, and it's still hard for me to make heads or tails of this. This unidentified entity, ghost, or creature was caught on this family's ring camera, and they have no explanation for it. It appears to be leaving the house and literally walking through the fence, and then you can see its shadow behind the fence through the slits walking away. But again, what is it? It walked through the fence. Could it be a ghost? It also looks like it may be some sort of ghost with a hat on. This is so weird. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
next night he is once again awoken to some rather disturbing sounds, and upon investigating, he encounters his worst fears. Watch closely.
Shit, this started again. Yalla, go to sleep now. Don't get up. It's almost the same time. Don't know.
The sounds of footsteps running straight at him from down the hallway can be heard, with each step getting louder and louder. After being startled, the man reacts in fear to run back to his bedroom and eventually regains his composure and goes back to sleep. But unfortunately, Jerry wakes them up once again. This time, the noises can be heard coming from right outside their bedroom door.
Oh my god. Ajay, क्या है ये? It's just near the door.
Daddy, what is it?
Nothing, but I just go to sleep now, okay?
Is that Jerry?
Shh. I don't know. Just be quiet now.
Hey.
Please, I beg you. Majja, don't go. Listen to me.
It's okay. Just be quiet.
They hear demonic scratching at their door, but it stopped as soon as he got out from his bed. This happened on 3 separate occasions, and then all creepy activity suddenly ceased afterwards. Fast forward to 2 weeks from now, and nothing much really happens, until he captured what he believes is the spirit known as Jerry, following him to his bedroom. A fairly tall white mist can be seen moving across from the cupboard area towards the family bedroom. The next night after this would be a straight up nightmare.
Daddy, are you scared?
No, Mama. I'm not scared.
Daddy, Spider-Man will come soon and rescue us.
No, don't worry. Daddy's here.
अजय मत जाओ, मैं तुम्हारे पैर पड़ती हूँ, प्लीज।
नहीं, कुछ नहीं होता खबर। Come here. Okay, I'm not doing this.
An unknown voice that mimics Zark and sounds exactly like him can be heard coming from within the house, telling him to come here. For most people, that would have been enough to make them move out.
If you're new here, welcome to HFC. Hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this. And for my returning viewers, you already know how we do it here. Let's go.
Her dog was looking at something that terrified it. A woman named Shello obtained a cult necklace by Aleister Crowley, and after that, strange things started happening. One day, she captures this.
Okay, I'm so crazy, right? Here you go. Baby is terrified. Hold on. I know. You're okay. You're okay. I know.
First, she hears knocking, then the door at the end opens and closes repeatedly by itself. The camera also distorts and shakes on its own. Then her dog gets really scared and runs away, whimpering. Cello is really worried as her dog seems to be really stressed and scared when any activity happens. A man lives alone in a house, which appears to be haunted. It started out with some banging sounds and occasional knocking, and then things started moving on their own, and one night he captures this.
The fuck?
All sorts of objects can be seen moving all over the place in the house. The man, being used to most of the activity, doesn't panic much, but isn't sure what is causing these events. A man named Joshua lives in a secluded area in the woods and was arriving home one day when he had a terrifying encounter that caused him to hide for his life. A strange person wearing all black is seen making feral noises while running all around the woods on Joshua's property. At first he thought it was his neighbor until he realized it was something else, causing him to hide. Many people believe it is a feral person that can probably sense someone nearby, but let me know what you think.
Many believe that spirits don't need permission to show up, that they're not waiting for an invitation. And sometimes, in those moments, in those escalations, when things go bump in the night, whether it be in your home, dorms, entire lives are caught in snapshots of fear. Now, we're about to get heavy here. So in the name of Jesus, I pray that each one of you are covered and that no fear and no spirits will come through these screens. In the name of Jesus, let's go.
Very rapidly, like this. Like that. Like this looks like a carpet, just like a carpet, like you would, a housewife would have a carpet and shaking it out.
You go to bed waiting, listening to make sure that the children will not be hurt.
The haunted hoopla drew the crowds here. It was a circus atmosphere outside. Reporters, photographers, the curious. The late Scranton actor Jason Miller, who played the priest in the movie The Exorcist, made a cameo back then. Even these self-proclaimed scientists tried to get into the possessed place. They were not successful, but these demonologists from Connecticut were. This pair tried to rid evil spirits with the presence of God. After a night in the Smurl home, their reaction?
It's very powerful. It's invisible. I don't care if you want to call it a devil or a ghost or a demon. There's something in this home which has the intelligence to inflict physical and psychological harm upon this family.
Then a famous mentalist got into the act. The amazing Kreskin set out to downplay the demons and show the mind is stronger than the ghost.
I want all of you now to think of the most violent thought you can imagine.
Oh, God. Their emotions shattered, the Smurls turned to this priest. He studied unusual phenomenon in New York and felt chasing the spirits out and exorcism was the last resort. Just like the demons, the Smurl story wouldn't go away. The National Enquirer printed their tale of terror. Then this newspaper reporter wrote a book. The family's fright also played out in this TV movie. Finally, after priests performed 3 exorcisms here, the Smurls say the phenomenon left, and shortly afterwards, so did they. Today, some 15 years later, all seems quiet at the former Smurl home in West Pittston. I talked with a family relative who tells me the Smurls still live in the area, but they don't want to relive their horror. That horror apparently died with the ghosts back in the 1980s.
Members of the Smurl family, Dawn, the twins, Heather, their German Shepherd, Jason, are all sitting here. These are the 4 children, their dog, and of course, Janet Smurl. Jason. This is the hallway where the family has experienced the rappings, all the way down the hallway where they have experienced the voices, some sort of magic whispering, but they also are able to distinguish the fact that there are a conversation going on between a man and a woman. The master bedroom is where a good deal of the phenomena has occurred, where Janet, sleeping on this side of the bed, has been pulled out by her legs. The dog, Jason, will sleep on this side. I gave reference earlier to the howling noise that would come from the dog. This is where he would be laying. This is where Jack was hit. But I think one of the most outstanding things is the fact, I will show you how these drawers work. Now, it's kind of hard to have them swing, and yet this is how they will swing back and forth at great speed when the infestation or phenomena is occurring.
That new Conjuring movie is go hit different. Let me tell you why it's gonna hit different, and we're going back to the old days. This is the real Smurl family. This is the real Smurl family. We got Jack Smurl, we got Janet Smurl, and we got the daughters and everything. They got them. This is the Conjuring Last Rites. Look at it, bro. They not playing, y'all. This is one of the Warren's worst cases they ever dealt with. I keep telling y'all this. People keep saying, I don't think it's going to be scary. Boy, I wish I could sit in a theater with all y'all. A lot of y'all going to be balled up. Because I'm telling you, the reason I'm so invested in this one right here is because I knew about the Smurl family before they even was trying to put this in a movie. And the thing is, bro, they showing beat for beat scenes from the actual story, like the chandelier scene, the scene with the dog sitting up, the scene with the demons walking through the house. They are literally showing beat for beat, like, hey, we going there with this. And look at the dad, Jack Smurl. They even showed the scene when the story he was telling to the news reporters how he levitated in his sleep. They showed that in the trailer. And look, what's crazy is that The Conjuring is always based off true events. The Smurl family case was one of the cases they was like, nah, we gonna let you, we out. We can't even deal with it. We can't even get to no concluding point. People said it was the mirror that was in the attic. People said it was the house in general, all types of stuff. They didn't know the real answer. Bro, dogs was getting flew across the room. Kids was getting hair pulled. People were getting scratched. Demons walking up the stairs. Demons bent down in the corner looking at them in their sleep. Bro, Jack Smurl getting essayed. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. They were getting whacked in that house. Bro, it was to the point they was doing the grandparents bad, and this was a duplex home. And bro, we getting everybody. But they was hearing growling upstairs. Bro, look, they was hearing growling upstairs while the dog was downstairs. Bro, this is the real house. This is the Smurl family house. Look, that's Ed, that's Lorraine. That's Ed, that's Lorraine. This is the Smurl family house. They are not playing, bro. They are not playing, y'all. I'm telling you. Y'all keep thinking I'm hyping it. A lot of people, okay, I will give y'all that. The Conjuring 3 was okay. Bro, it was people saying, The Conjuring 2 ain't gonna be scared. Bro, people was jumping out their skin. Do y'all not remember? Can I buy a Val? Can I buy a Val, huh? Going once, going twice. Everybody was scared in there. I saw grown men with their dates like this. In that scene where the little boy put the firefighter truck in a tent because you knew something was about to happen. Bro, y'all cannot tell me this ain't gonna be one of the scariest conjures, bro. I done had people tell me I already seen the movie. This is one of the scariest conjures, if not the scariest conjure. Haven't I been telling y'all everything about this? And now look, everything I told y'all they're showing in the trailer. Y'all, I'm telling you, September 5th, it's gonna get like that. I'm telling y'all, bro. It's gonna go back to the old days.
The Smurl family haunting is also known as the Nightmare on Chase Street to some of the locals. It's also the basis of the book and the movie called The Haunted that was written in 1986. Jack and Janet Smurl moved to their house on Chase Street in West Pittston, Pennsylvania in 1973. The hauntings that they reported took place between 1973 and 1986, and within that time they had two of their daughters, Heather and Shannon. It started with small things like tools going missing, stains coming through paint that was just freshly painted, appliances catching on fire that hadn't even been plugged in, and awful smells that would start and disappear just as quickly as they came. Things quickly intensified on the night of Heather's confirmation. Janet was getting the girls ready for Heather's confirmation when the ceiling light broke free and smashed through the dining table. There was no warning that this was going to happen, and Shannon was left with a gash on her forehead, and the table was a disaster. Not too long after that day, Janet was downstairs doing laundry when she heard a woman call her name. Thinking that it was her sister upstairs, she yelled that she'd be right up, but when she got to the top of the stairs, there was nobody up there. After that, the Smurl family reported that lights would turn on and off on their own, doors would open and shut on a whim. They would hear knocks on the walls in threes, and they'd see shadows in their peripheral vision. Their poor dog was a target too. One night, Jack and Janet were sleeping, and they heard an otherworldly howl. They thought it was their German Shepherd Simon that was sleeping on the floor next to them. When Jack reached down to pet Simon, his hand was pulled back and held, and he was not able to pet Simon. Once he was finally able to break his fan free and go down and comfort the dog, he realized that the dog was just sleeping. Poor Simon, the pup, seemed to teleport outside without any help. He was getting thrown up against walls by hands that weren't even there. Soon these angry hands would turn onto the family as well. They would be pulled from their beds at night and scratched and slapped randomly. You'd even hear hoofbeats, screams, and moans, along with these voices calling out their names. Jack claims to be SA'd by a woman with serpentine, snake-like scales, and he was unable to move during this process. He says after this act, he was left in a pungent, smelly fluid. After this, the Smurls were desperate for help, and they turned to the media to make their cases more public. This caught the eye of famous Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren covered many high-profile paranormal cases across that area. Ed and Lorraine Warren came to investigate, and they found that there were 4 different spirits residing within the home, and I'm going to read those to you. They were an elderly woman, a young and possibly violent little girl, a man who suffered and died in the home, and a demon that used the other 3 spirits to haunt the Smurls. The Warrens tried to persuade the demon to leave by playing religious music and praying, but during this process, he shook the mirrors, shook the floor, and eventually left a message on a mirror that told Ed Warren to get out. The Warrens put the Smurls in touch with an Episcopal priest, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, and he came over and ended up doing an exorcism on the home. This did decrease the activity a little. After a few days of no activity, the priest did end up leaving. They would go on to have 2 more exorcisms, and finally in 1987, they were so sick of the hauntings, they decided to move and never looked back. I don't know about you guys, but I would pay to go visit there. Probably shouldn't though.
How long were you in this home with your family before you became aware of the fact that things of a paranormal nature were occurring?
Approximately 1 year ago.
1 year ago, in 1985?
Yes.
Now, you have also had numerous occasions in all parts of this house on both sides, especially during the nighttime hours, where you are experiencing pounding and sometimes knocking sounds. Not all pounding. Sometimes you were hearing at the front door, feeling that somebody is at the door. How many pounds or how many knocks?
The last couple of months. Most knocks are in threes. And I came in here, Simon came with me, and I had a cigarette, and I thought, well, I'll just wait a while. And as I'm sitting here, the heavy walking was continuing.
Back and forth
in the hallway. And I thought, am I crazy? My whole family's upstairs. So I put the ashtray on the kitchen table and I left the window open. Then I went back upstairs to bed and I got in. It was banging like somebody had fists and was banging it on top of our triple dresser in the bedroom.
Almost every household in America knows about the Lutz family. Although the name may not seem familiar offhand, the minute you see the house they lived in, it clicks, oh, the Amityville Horror, of course. Another family that had experiences just as terrifying, if not more so, are the Smurls. Their haunting is one of the most chilling ghostly encounters in the annals of paranormal history. This terrifying supernatural encounter has been the subject of books, documentaries, and even a made-for-TV movie. The Smurls were your typical American family living in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Jack and Janet Smurl lived a peaceful life with their family until 1973, when major flooding from Hurricane Agnes forced them to move. Jack and Janet, along with their 2 daughters and Jack's parents, moved into their new home a few miles away on Chase Street. Their new home was actually a fixer-upper duplex, but it's what they could afford at the time. The family of 4 taking one side of the duplex while Jack's parents occupied the other. Initially, everything was pretty status quo. Anything out of the ordinary that did happen was shrugged off. Things like items going missing and reappearing, strange odors that would be gone as fast as they came, knocking, stains seeping through newly painted walls, and lights turning on and off. The family went on to have 2 more daughters, twins, and lived life as usual. Activity began to get violent. Janet was helping their daughter, Heather, prepare for her first communion. Janet claims that a ceiling light burst out of nowhere, stating, "Without no warning at all, in the manner of a split second." The sudden explosion of the light bulb caused a nasty gash in their other daughter, Shannon's forehead. One of the main targets of the malevolent spirit was the family's German shepherd, Simon. I adore animals, so I'm not going to go into detail about what he went through, but it was pure evil. Of course, Simon wasn't the only one targeted. Both Jack and Janet report having been violated while in bed. Jack described his attacker as an old hag with scaly skin, saying it overwhelmed him with a pungent, smelly fluid. Renowned paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, were called in to investigate. They claimed that the home was inhabited by a powerful demon, and it shook mirrors and furniture after they had prayed. They conducted several exorcisms and spiritual interventions, but the haunting persisted.
In the 13 prior years, the Smurls had a possible terror as part of the demonic attack, including the physical destruction of their home, mysterious bite marks appearing on their bodies, strange shadow creatures roaming their house, being thrown across rooms by invisible hands. As horrible as those events were, they seemed to pale in comparison to the realization that their own church had turned its back on them.
And they didn't lose faith.
Now, that's amazing that they didn't.
They did not lose their faith, Tony, not once.
The family's terrifying encounter seemed to be a battle they were losing. Since the Warrens' attempts were unsuccessful, the Smurls went to the media in an attempt to cast a wider net in finding help. What they got in return was vitriol, angry neighbors, a media circus, and skepticism. Critics questioned the validity of the family's claims and the methods used by the Warrens during their investigation. Some even suggested that the Smurl family had fabricated the entire ordeal for financial gain. In 1987, they had had enough. They moved, but claimed the entity, or entities, had followed. A church-sanctioned exorcism was performed in 1989, and all has been quiet since. In 1991, a made-for-TV movie called The Haunted, based on Robert Curran's book, was released. Despite the controversy, the Smurl family maintained that their experiences were real. In 2016, a local newspaper interviewed one of the daughters, Karen, regarding the haunting. She stated, "We never made money from the book or movie. Who would want to go through all that media and public bashing?" To the naysayers, I hope it doesn't take something as extreme as what we went through to make them believers. We wouldn't wish our experiences on anyone. Whether you're a believer in the paranormal or a staunch skeptic, the Smurl family haunting is a tale that continues to captivate and terrify audiences around the world.
Believe your home is haunted.
Absolutely.
Do you believe your home?
There's no doubt. And if you had told me this a year ago, I would have probably told you that you needed a psychiatrist. But I am a believer that this house is really haunted.
Thank you very much, both
You're
of you,
welcome.
for your interview this afternoon.
Okay, Lorraine.
We're in the home of Janet and Jack Smurl in Pittston, Pennsylvania. I don't really remember on the tape earlier of getting the full address of this home, which is at 330 Chase Street, West Pittston, Pennsylvania. It is February 14th, 1986. The living room that we are in, we gave reference in the interview to a lamp that had a three-way switch on it, although there was not a three-way bulb in it, that would keep going on and off. The door just behind you, Al, is the door that the family on many occasions not only would find ajar, but would actually find open against that wall. We'll now go on to the second floor level, where most of the phenomena that has occurred has actually taken place. Members of the Smurl family, Dawn, the twins, Heather, their German Shepherd, Jason, are all sitting here. These are the four children, their dog, and of course, Janet Smurl. Great. Jason.
Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. I want to go now. Mom, I have to go to the bathroom.
Notice that this stairway, as you're coming up, is very, very narrow. Now, Jack was sitting on the very top step. One of our researchers was perhaps in this area talking to Jack. They watched the dog, Jason, who is a full-grown German Shepherd, walk across. He wasn't coming down the stairs. He would have had to pass the two men in water to come down the stairs. And Jack decided to call the dog because he couldn't see him for a couple of minutes. And the dog came from downstairs up. No possible way that the dog could have gone from where he was up here. There was no other way for him to come from this level down without using these stairs, and he did not. This is the hallway where the family has experienced the rappings, all the way down the hallway, where they have experienced the voices, some sort of magic whispering, but they also are able to distinguish the fact that there are a conversation going on between a man and a woman. We're now entering the master bedroom. The master bedroom is where a good deal of the phenomena has occurred, where Janet, sleeping on this side of the bed, has been pulled out by her legs. The dog, Jason, will sleep on this side. I gave reference earlier to the howling noise that would come from the dog. This is where he would be laying. This is where Jack was hit. But I think one of the most outstanding things is the fact I will show you how these drawers work. Now, it's kind of hard to have them swing, and yet this is how they will swing back and forth at great speed when the infestation or phenomena is occurring. Actually, I'm able to move them a little easier than we were able to move them early on. At times, it will only be that Janet would find it a little ajar. But on this one occasion, when she was in the room, the door was going in and out very, very quickly. These are also the walls where they will hear and experience the rapping sounds. This television set, although I don't remember discussing it during our interview, unplugged or not on, will become illuminated like a bright light. No picture on it, but they will actually see that light up. They will get a buzzing sound that seems to be associated with this tape recorder that is on. The buzzing sound actually is probably not coming from the tape itself, but actually altering the state of consciousness of the people in the room, Jack and Janet. This is the room occupied by the 13-year-old girl and the 16-year-old girl. And most of the phenomena that occurs in this room seems to happen in and around the closet area, although in this room we have had the disappearance and reappearance of personal objects of the two teenage girls. This is the closet area, and especially in the back of this closet, where they will hear much of the rapping that takes place in this bedroom in particular. Now, in the room of the twins, the two little 7-year-old girls, there seems to be very little that actually happens in this room. This is a very tiny, little, small room. Although the family described something that was rather strange. When they first purchased this home, this room was a little bit larger, but they have enlarged their bathroom, which has kind of reduced the size of this room. But it was on this wall when they first moved in that there was an opening. Not an opening where you would have a stove or any form of heat because there was no chimney behind there. And then up from that hole was a dark mark on the walls that no soap and water, no detergents, and certainly 4 coats of paint could not cover. That is the reason why this room is paneled. The last room up here is, of course, the bathroom. There has been a great deal that has occurred in here. They will hear the water, especially from next door, running. They have experienced the toilet flushing on like 30 times on one occasion. Jack was standing when he actually was witness to the toilet flush in front of him. He then picked up the top of the toilet box to adjust the ball, thinking that something was wrong. Actually, nothing at all was wrong when the rapping started right on the toilet box, the commode itself. It is in this area that Jack's medical bracelet had been missing from. It had actually dematerialized. As of this point, it has still not materialized. So that is really the majority of what had taken place on this stairway, or on this level.
All right, you still with me? When things start moving on their own, it's rarely the end. It's usually just the beginning. The Smurl family went through something horrific. Something that makes the other clips that I showed you look very tame. This is one of the darkest cases the Warrens ever investigated. A haunting that escalated into physical torment. Terror that didn't stop when the lights came on. All right, we're about to get deeper. Let's dive into the Amityville Horror.
Why did it happen to me? I don't really know. I do not have the answers for that. I played places like Amityville. That, if you gave me $1 billion, I wouldn't go in that house again. Because it messed up my life and my husband's life. Terrible, horrible, horrible place. Oh, it was terrible. That's where I levitated with my body in that home. And it was, the things that happened there were terrible. Really, really terrible.
This next picture that we're going to see
I think
was
this is
taken
an astonishing picture, in fact.
Yes, with infrared film.
Oh, yes.
And it's in the upstairs bedrooms. Just to the left there, you see what looks like a small boy's face looking out with bioluminescent eyes. This was the room of one of the young boys who was murdered there.
Isn't that eerie?
Now, a lot of people would say, well, is that the spirit of the young boy? No, it is not the spirit of the young boy, but it is a diabolical spirit with luminescent eyes that appears in that home to confuse the investigators.
You think that is an evil spirit, Ed?
Positively. Everything about this house was evil. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, I was in that house one time and nothing ever happened to me. It's not that a house is haunted 24 hours a day. You don't walk into a haunted house and see ghosts flitting all over the place. After 9 o'clock, the psychic hours start, 9 to 6 in the morning. 9 o'clock, the energy starts to build up because of the darkness. Then you start to get what we call the infestation in a house like Amityville. First you hear the little knockings, the rappings. Then you might hear pounding sounds. Then you might hear crying or sobbing, hysterical laughter. These are the types of things that actually happen in these homes. But pictures like this, taken with infrared film, the camera is neither for nor against the supernatural or preternatural world. It only takes what it sees. And what it sees here is a spirit of a diabolical nature in that room.
And I took a relic, a Padre Pio, in the house with me. A relic that came in the mail that day. That very day, it came in the mail. And I asked him to help me with discernment. I didn't know that house was demonic. I didn't know anything about it. I couldn't speculate that the house was haunted in any way, shape, or form. Just that we were called to investigate why one family were all murdered, another family moved in and fled. So Channel 5 News said, you know, the viewers have a right to know what happened. That's why we went to the house.
So what do you think really actually took place in the house? Do you have any opinions on what?
Evil. It's the personification of evil. How evil can personify itself. How it can be attracted in certain situations. I got up to the top of the stairs. Remember, I'd never been in this home. I knew nothing about anything about it. Nothing about the history at all, Tony. It was just another haunted house, except that we were on camera. I went to the left and went in this room. That was the sewing room. And in that room, I looked at Marvin Scott, and he told me just a year ago that he will never forget what I said to him. And that is, I hope this is as close to hell as I'll ever get. And in that room is where Father Pecoraro was told by an unseen voice to get out. It's the room where the hundreds of flies were killed. That's all.
He was also slapped in the face at that time.
Yes.
After you heard the voice, he felt a physical slap in the face.
Each one didn't move while he went ahead and killed every single one of them with a gun.
What the fuck?
Obviously, he went to jail and he did the questioning and shit.
Yeah.
But that house ended up going back on sale. Some family ended up moving in there. Now, this family, they were haunted for years.
Yeah,
fam.
probably.
Not years, but like however long they stayed.
Yeah, it has to, yeah.
Fuck. They would always get a haunting at what time?
3:15?
3:15 a.m. And story goes that they would realize later that 3:15 a.m. was the time the family was murdered.
Oh, shit.
When the killing happened. And what's crazy, the wife who lived there, she had nightmares and dreams of exactly how the murders went down, exactly the order of each family member dying.
And she didn't even know those people.
She didn't know those people. There's not even solid outline of what exactly went down on that night. But she was able to completely say what happened, how it looked, how everything went down. The husband that lived with them, he would see like his kids like levitate. Like they would just like levitate, like literally just in the fucking in like the family room, they're just like levitating and shit. The mom, she would walk into the kitchen, and the husband would look at her, and on her face, he would see.
I guess the Amityville Horror really is supposed to be me, because I'm the one that got convicted of killing my family. I'm the one who said did it. I'm the one that's supposed to be possessed by the devil. There was a lot of problems, you know. It's not that I could sit here and lie to you. I can say that I knew something bad was going to happen to my mother and father. It was like a nightmare. I'm looking at my mother and father dead, my sister. I said, my God. I got scared. I ran out of the house, jumped in my car, ran down the street, and got my friends and came back to the house. Some priest was in the courtroom watching my performance on the witness stand. He felt that my performance, I had to be possessed by the devil.
I don't know who the fuck would buy this house. You cannot be in your right mind to buy this home and choose to live in it. If you have no idea what this house is, let me just show you another picture. The fucking Amityville house. I actually just got done watching this movie and was curious enough to see who bought this home and who hates themselves enough to actually live in it. And shockingly, it's true. Back in 2017, an older couple bought this home, totally remodeled it, I guess, and they live in it to this day. A while back, they actually changed the address from 112 Ocean Avenue to 108 Ocean Avenue to stop like crazy tourists and people that were obsessed with the house. There's actually no current pictures of the home right now online. If you go to Zillow or you go to Google Earth, everything is blurred out. This is so far the most current photo. It was on Realtor.com when it originally sold back in 2017. You can see compared to this picture taken in 1974 that they clearly have done a lot of renovations. They even took out those two creepy fucking windows that are in this picture. And then of course they have this picture from 2017 as well. This is where Ryan Reynolds killed that dog. And then you have some more pictures right here from when it sold back in 2017. I don't understand how anybody could buy this house. I'm sorry. I can understand if you wanted to buy it and open up like some museum where people could go in and tour it. Even that's just fucking weird. I don't even know if I would do that. But yeah.
My name is Patty Camarado. I was friends with Allison DeFeo, the girl who was murdered with the rest of her family here in 1974. This I'm going to show you is the mysterious red room that's so noted for in the book. This door, which they say was never here, was here, is here, always will be here, I suppose. This is the red room. Nothing more than a storage area where Allison and her brothers and I used to keep toys. Just red, you know? There's never any feeling of spirit presence or ghosts or any sort of thing like that. It's just a play area. Used to keep toys. Nothing more than that.
The Amityville Horror House, now and then. Warning, crime scene photos and...
When you give recognition, when you go into a place where haunting phenomena is going on, and you give it recognition, you give it energy, and then it can do whatever it wants. Sometimes, for me, I'll make the sign of the cross, name of Jesus Christ, go away, and go back to where you came from, when I get really overpowered.
I've had to actually bring Lorraine Warren to a case where a paranormal investigator thought it was a fun hobby, decided to go out and do EVP sessions, take photographs, try and make contact with the spirit world. She made contact all right. A demon actually followed her home. We helped cleanse her, we helped cleanse the house. We tried to spiritually protect them. Lorraine gave her specific directions. Don't pursue paranormal investigation. You're too open for this. That's why this thing followed you home.
In a house that evil, you know that house really had very, 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 very bad vibes.
In her day, she was the house of the county. You know, the one that you drive by and they're like, that was the first house. And that's what she was. And when the witch and on all these ghosts moved in, they just slowly just chipped away at her, and like the cracks showed up and the veining and the darkness of the house.
We started to absorb the karma of the house almost as through osmosis. We would hear the mournful, pitiful, sad weeping of children in the house.
He opened the door and he was screaming, "Come on, help me, somebody shot my mother and father." And everyone ran out of the bar and that was it. They all took off. No, I had to stay, I was tending off. They all jumped in his car and took off.
Today, police combed the DeFeo's handsome three-story house for clues while divers explored the backyard swimming pool for the still unfound murder weapon. Police have been questioning the son, Ronald, and now say he is being, quote, safeguarded. Investigators say without explanation that they now feel young DeFeo was in the house at the time of the murders, but they're not yet considering him a suspect.
We have no suspect at this time. We have no indication of the motive at this time.
What about Ronald DeFeo, the son, the surviving son?
Ronald is being safeguarded by the Suffolk County Police at this time.
Why safeguarded?
Why? Because the 6 members of the family dead, and we don't know why, and he's the sole remaining member.
Is he also a suspect?
He's not a suspect at this time.
Few people in the neighborhood knew the family well, but those who did described them as close-knit.
I think they were just very sweet, very religious people, very family-minded people. And that's about all I could say. Very good, very generous, good type. Very close with their children.
There's one element in the usual mass murder story which seems to be missing from this case. There's no sense of fear in this community. No feeling of a mass murderer on the loose. People we talked to seem to feel that whatever was the motive for this crime, it had something to do with the family. It's not something that's going to return to bother anyone else. In Amityville...
Is this the clearest photo of a ghost ever captured? Let's talk about it. This is the image of the ghost boy from the Amityville Horror haunting. And at the time that this photo was taken, there was no child inside of this house. If you don't know the story of the Amityville Horror, it's one of the most famous haunted house stories in American history. If you don't know why the house is allegedly so haunted, we have to go back in time. On November 13th, 1974, Ron DeFeo entered the family home that he lived in with his parents and his 4 siblings and shot all of them to death. This means that he committed 6 murders in the house in one night. Afterwards, Ron said that he had heard voices that were telling him to kill his family. But the real motive for this crime has never been revealed. Only a year after the murders happened, 1 year, the Lutz family moved in. Apparently the house was being sold for very cheap, and when they were about to buy the house, the realtor told them that 6 people had just been murdered in here last year. And that didn't affect their decision at all, and they moved in. When George and Kathy moved into the house, the typical things that happen in a haunted house started. They were hearing voices, doors were slamming by themselves. Ooze formed on the carpet, smells came and went. George said that he would wake up at 3:15 a.m. every single night, the exact same time that the murders began. And hordes of flies would swarm the house. Only a month after moving into that house, they left. And that's where Ed and Lorraine Warren came in. They were called out to investigate the home, and even though they didn't pick up on anything too crazy, Lorraine did say that she felt like there was an extremely evil presence there, something that may have driven Ron to commit the murders. It was during one of these investigations, though, when the photo of the ghost boy was captured. According to the story of the investigators, a camera had been set up inside of the house to take photos in the middle of the night when no one was inside. And when they went and checked their roll of film after the photos had been taken, they discovered this haunting image. A lot of people who have analyzed this photo say that the ghost boy looks like John DeFeo, one of the family members who was killed by Ron in that massacre. And even though over the years tons of people have taken a look at these photos, no one has ever been able to truly debunk them. Now, if this truly is a ghost photo, I gotta say it is one of the creepiest I've ever seen. I mean, you never see the definition like with this boy and the glowing white eyes. All of it is just so eerie. But let me know your thoughts below. Let me know, do you think that this is a real photo of a ghost? I get it if you're skeptic too. You don't have to say, oh, I don't believe in ghosts. I'm talking about to the believers here. What do you think about this photo?
Get creeped out, let's talk about the Amityville haunting. It was November 13th, 1974 in the Long Island town of Amityville when a man named Ronald DeFeo unalived his entire family while they were sleeping in the Amityville house. 13 months later, the Lutz family purchased the house at a very low price due to the unaliving that occurred in the house. Don't come for me if I'm saying their last name wrong because I've heard it 2 different ways. The family actually only ended up living in the house for 28 days because the paranormal activity was so intense that they just could not stay, which I would totally move out too, so no judgment there. Ronald DeFeo had unalived his entire family at what they believed to be around 3:15 in the morning. George Lutz, now living in the house, starts to wake up at 3:15 a.m. every night, every morning. The family reported that there were strange smells in the house, different cold spots in different areas of the house, and they could see green slime oozing out of the walls and keyholes, which is gross. They allegedly had a priest come to bless the house, but the priest heard something scream at him to get out during this process. He warned the family to never sleep in that particular room of the house. Lots of strange activity happened while the Lutzes owned the house. For instance, a garage door opening and closing on its own, an invisible entity knocking a knife down in the kitchen, George Lutz and his son Daniel at one point seeing a pig-headed creature stare at them through a window with red glowing eyes, George waking up to Kathy levitating in their bed. No thanks. And then his sons Daniel and Christopher both also levitating in their beds. Yikes. George and Kathy Lutz actually took a lie detector after all of this happened to prove that they were telling the truth, and they did pass the lie detector test. George's son Daniel Lutz, who is now an adult, claims that the house ruined his life and that he still has nightmares to this day. The house has since been owned by 4 other families. However, there have been no public reports of ongoing hauntings or paranormal activity. After the levitating incident, the Lutz family decided to get out of that house. They fled with nothing. 5 months later, Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated the house. Lorraine stated that the house was the personification of evil. During Ed and Lorraine's investigation of the house, Ed was allegedly pushed to the ground by something, and Lorraine felt a deep sense of a demonic presence inside the house. She claimed to be overcome with visions of the DeFeo unaliving situation. The Warrens also captured this demon child photo. What do you guys think? Anyways, that's it for this one. See you next time. You should go.
You should go. You mean leave?
Answer.
Why should I go? Because? There's a demon in there. Did you hear that? There's a demon in there. The household fight?
Mostly.
What's the name of the pig? Lee, what did your daughter call the pig? With the red eyes. That sounds like him. What did your daughter...
Whether you believe in demons or not, something dark was left behind in those houses. And it still echoes through paranormal history till this day. But spirits aren't the only thing you should worry about. Sometimes the real horror is standing right outside your door. Not everything caught on camera is paranormal. Sometimes it's far worse.
On November 30th, 2021, a woman in Dallas posted footage of a man standing outside her apartment door late at night. This incident, which was captured by her Ring doorbell camera, raised significant concerns as the man had been stalking her and standing outside her door almost every night. She stated that she has contacted the police about this problem she's been dealing with since October 31st, but according to her, not much was done from the authorities to keep this man away. Here is what she recorded.
video is a very real and grisly reminder that danger can be following you anywhere at any time, even to your front door. And it can be a lesson, especially for women, to be alert of your surroundings, especially before opening your front door. As you just saw, a mother holding her infant daughter unknowingly leads a man to her front door and was mere seconds away from him getting inside. As the man approaches the driveway, you can see him pulling up the mask over his face to conceal his identity, clearly with premeditated intentions. As the man walks up the driveway, the daughter takes notice to him as the mother is still completely oblivious to the approaching threat. Luckily, she makes it inside and shuts the door in time. She only realized what had just happened after looking through the terrifying ring footage. The woman made a report to the police as soon as she saw the footage, and what the police said was disturbing. There had been a series of reports of a brutal and violent rapist in the area who had been targeting women and children. It's suspected that he and this man were the same person. No sane person leaves their house with a full face mask such as this one if they're not knowingly about to commit a serious crime and want to conceal their identity. The woman in the video just may have saved her and her child's life just by this. Convinced of just how often this kind of thing happens, here's a similar video. A young college-age looking girl is coming home, letting herself into her house. Not even 5 seconds after she enters the home, 2 large men step on the porch, and the one in front immediately tries to open the door. Some people think the men looked genuinely confused and may have had the wrong house. However, the short window of time between the girl entering the house and the men stepping on the porch would have definitely allowed them to see the girl. You'd think anyone who just tries to open the door to a house surely must know they have the right house, or at the very least know who lives in the house. It could also be argued that when the man turns to his friend behind him, he's making mention of the camera, and so he pretends to think he has the right house by sticking around and knocking, despite the obvious screams from the girl inside as she notices the men at the door. It seems they only run off after the girl starts screaming, "We're calling the police." So unlike the first video, there's no 100% proof of whether these guys had bad intentions or not. Whether they were trying to grab the girl, or if they genuinely had the wrong house is up for debate, as there's no further info on this video. If it is the second one, still, everything about the men's actions was sketchy.
This clip was captured at 5 in the morning on October 2nd, 2022. In it, 3 men are shown standing in front of this house's front door. They're carrying weapons and wearing masks resembling the ones from the movie The Purge. One of them sees the doorbell camera and immediately puts his hand over it. For a good portion of the video, all you can see is his glove. But for a second, he uncovers the camera, revealing all 3 men up close. They're seen leaned up against the wall and crouching low to the ground, clearly trying to stay out of the view of anyone inside. That's when the homeowner finally wakes up to all the motion-detected notifications on his phone. He pulls up the app, but all he sees is a glove covering the camera. Having not yet seen the earlier footage, he goes on the speaker and tries to identify who's on his front porch.
Hello? 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 Hello?
The men do not respond, so the homeowner called the police. By the time the police arrived, though, the men were gone. Many believe they were trying to lure the homeowner into opening the door so they could rob him. But why then not try to convince him to come to the door when he came on the doorbell speaker? It's more likely they were trying to pick the lock while the camera was being covered. What they then planned to do when they got inside is anyone's best guess.
Comes from inside of a house instead of the front porch, and this one can play on one of the biggest fears of a lot of people, and that is someone lurking around your house as you sleep. In Wichita, Kansas, a family's Ring cameras captured some terrifying video footage of a stranger standing directly over sleeping 15-year-old Anaya Robinson at around 2:30 a.m. on a Friday night. This was the footage captured. Anaya said once she opened her eyes, she felt like she was in a scene from a horror movie, seeing somebody sitting over her, watching her that she didn't know. Anaya rushed to her mother Angel's room, screaming there's somebody in the house, and after being jolted awake, Angel made sure her 2-year-old daughter and Anaya were safe in a room before calling the police. Wichita police responded quickly, but the intruder was already gone. It's likely the boy entered the house simply through the front door. Luckily, the Ring cameras clearly caught his face, and using this footage, the police acted on a tip and were able to arrest a 14-year-old boy whose name was not released. The boy faced aggravated burglary and theft charges.
Graydon Dowland is a kid from Riverton, Utah. It was around 6 p.m. on a night in December. He was alone walking home from basketball practice this night. At some point during his walk, he noticed a 4-door sedan driven by 2 men slowly lurking around behind him. Graydon said he started walking faster when he saw it. Then the car drove up right next to him. The men inside rolled down their windows and told Graydon they had candy in the back seat, trying to entice him inside. This happened only blocks away from his house. He ignored the men and only started to walk even faster away from them. A few seconds pass, and he makes it to his house's front porch. His family's house had a doorbell camera, and as Graydon approached, you're actually able to see the car in the background. He continues to look over at it as he walks up to the front door. He tries the front door handle, but realizes it was locked. At the exact same time, the car's reverse lights turn on and it starts heading towards him. Graydon yells out and quickly grabs nearby rocks to defend himself. He then runs to his next-door neighbor's house. Their door was unlocked, so he let himself in and immediately locked it behind him. The car can then be seen turning around and following him. For the next several minutes, the car lurks around the area waiting for Graydon to come back outside. Police were called and a report was made. Graydon described the men as being in their 30s or 40s with no facial hair. Both Graydon's family and the police have almost no doubt in believing the men were trying to kidnap him.
These clips remind us, fear doesn't always knock. Sometimes it waits. It's watching. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Like, sub, drop a comment below, and remember, stay aware and stay ready. Now, I know I took you through a lot there, so we're going to go through a cool down period. I haven't done this in a while, so enjoy.
Okay,
get up,
I'm up.
Get up,
Stop.
get up,
Stop.
get up.
Stop! I told you stop.
You told me to wake you up though.
But you ain't have to hit me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Happy birthday.
Boy, I ain't even 7. I'm 3 years old. You just trying to hit me and hiss me off. Hey, what you doing? Ow, you slapped me, boy.
My bad. It's a fly flying around here somewhere. I was just trying to. Oh, your bed is so hard. I can't even sleep on this. It's so rough. Whoa, this ain't Tempur-Pedic. This is rough as I can't.
Ralph, you done made me curse. You better lay down.
I'm going to sleep.
And I will always love you.
Mom, be honest. Am I adopted?
Ow, that's my mouth. Y'all just gonna let him hit me like that because I'm bigger? All right, take that. Ooh, I'm gone. Hey, you all right? Leave me alone, bro.
Fight me down.
Leave me alone.
What happened over here?
What, you want some too?
Nope, not at all.
That's what I thought.
I'ma slap you.
No, you not.
You know you can't beat me.
Don't you even?
What? You see my hand? See my
I got you. Oh my God, I got you. I finally got you.
Stop, boy.
Oh,
No,
I
you
got
didn't.
you. What?
You ain't get me. You snuck me that time. Let's do it again.
What?
Take some of this, boy.
You want some more? Oh, you want to do it again, huh? Come on. I finally got you.
Wait till you go to sleep.
I finally got you.
Wait till you go to sleep. Man, it's your face. I just want to slap
Wait, bro.
Hey, get your hand out my face, bro.
Wait. You always...
Get your hand out my face.
Okay. You always choosing violence. Stop. You always choosing violence. Okay. All right. Can we just talk civilized like a dog and a cat?
Go on and talk.
Okay, look. See, I'm your friend. Why you always raising your hands? Stop. Calm down. You got anger issues. You know that?
Oh, now you my therapist?
For a cat, you need to be. Why you moving in the fight position? Why you getting in the fight position? You know what? I think it's. See what I mean? I can't even talk to you. It's best if I just leave. I'll just leave the situation.
All right, that wraps up another one for the HFC podcast. Thank you for being here with me as we do these dives into the Warrens and a little bit of mischief with the paranormal. On the next video, stay tuned for this one. It's going to be part of the series It's All Connected. This is where we talk about CERN, portals opening, the 2012, theory that we all died. We'll get into it. Also, much more in that segment. We're going to be talking about time speeding up, quantum leaping, and dimensions. That's going to be a cool video. All right, stay safe, stay blessed in these dark, deceptive times. HFC, signing out. Peace.